really wish, I really pray to have that, where you love and celebrate people regardless of, just, yeah, I've made the point, let's move on. Ta-da! Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Alheri and I'm very excited that you're back here. I cannot start this video without saying thank you to each and every one of you. In the first 24 hours of uploading my video, I had over 100 subscribers. That's so cute, guys. I had 100. So cute. Anyway, today I wanted to talk about a book I read recently that really challenged me. I mentioned this book in my first and only video so far. The book is called 9 Things You Simply Must Do to Succeed in Love and in Life. It's written by a Christian psychologist called Dr. Henry Cloud. His first book is called Boundaries in Dating. It's a very popular book. It was especially popular around my high school, college years. So now, as you can see, I'm reading big girl stuff. Dr. Cloud talks about these people who he kept meeting over and over and over again, and he would feel like he had met the same person, right? So he calls them deja vu people. And I'm going to read just a little snippet from the introduction. He says, "But here is the interesting thing and the thing that added to the confusion. All these people were very different from one another. They had different backgrounds, different personalities, different kinds of lives, different economic circumstances, and different abilities. But they were the same in the way they shared this particular way of handling life. And that commonality, I realized, was the deja vu I kept experiencing. I was not encountering the same person over and over again. I was encountering a way of performing, a way of doing things that was so profound and at the same time so simple and subtle that it both stood out and was concealed at the same time. Whenever he would meet somebody who did something in an exceptional way, he would find that there were commonalities between that person and someone else he had met, maybe from a different phase of life or from a different place or location. The commonality was in the way they did things. This reminds me of the Biblical Hall of Fame in the book of Hebrews. So Hebrews chapter 11 talks about the heroes of faith and talks about Abraham, talks about Isaac, talks about Jacob, talks about Moses, and even talks about Rahab. The interesting thing is that all of these people had very different lives. Their encounters with God, their relationships with God, their challenges they faced in life were all very different. They responded even in their own ways, but there was an underlying current, their faith in God. It's interesting how when we look at the circumstances of those people's lives, it almost doesn't seem like they even had faith in the moment. It doesn't even seem like they knew that they were showcasing faith, right? But posterity will tell. Hindsight is always 20/20, perfect vision. And when we look back now, we say, oh, Abraham was such a man of faith. Do you think he was a man of faith when he went to have a child with his wife's slave? Not really. I don't think he felt like he was a man of faith. But at the end of the day, the underlying current was he trusted in God unwaveringly. Anyway, that was a short sermon. Let's go back to 9 things. The first thing he talks about is dig it up. In this particular chapter, he speaks about going with your flow. It's a very interesting concept I've been thinking about recently. We each have gifts and talents. Don't be a fish trying to fly. Be a fish that's swimming the best way you know how to, right? I'm not saying don't challenge yourself. By all means, challenge yourself, learn new things. That's the only way to grow. However, it would be remiss of you if you don't spend time trying to understand the uniqueness that God has given you. If you don't spend time trying to understand who you are. Think about Oprah, right? Oprah was a newscaster. She was a broadcaster. Imagine such a person being on Al Jazeera or on CNN or on Fox News. It would do a disservice to the very specific talent that the Lord has given to her. There are many of you listening to me now. You're struggling to understand math when God has given you English free of charge. You're struggling to understand English when God has given you physics free of charge. What do they say? Bloom where you're planted. So that's the first thing he talks about. Dig it up. Then he talks about pull the tooth. Pull the tooth is interesting because he says successful people do not hang on to bad stuff for long. When you have a tooth that's decaying and you go to your dentist doesn't sit with you trying to act cute and tell you, oh my gosh, just take care of the tooth, manage it, as people from a certain part of this world will say. No, they pull the tooth. There's another concept in a book by Brian Tracy, I believe, that says eat the frog. He says if you have two frogs to eat the bigger frog first and eat the smaller frog second. He basically talks about facing your demons, facing your challenges head on. That's why I'm sitting here talking to my camera and starting this YouTube channel. Facing those things you really want to do, face them head on. If you have something in your life that you don't like, don't sit down and mope and wait for rain and the sun and the conditions to be perfect. It's never gonna happen. Pull the tooth today. Go to those places where you face a lot of difficulty and start to tackle them. One thing I want to mention here specifically is pull the proverbial emotional teeth, right? Many of us grew up in dysfunctional households. Many people are dealing with adult trauma, and when you're a traumatized person, you are living at 50%, maybe when God has designed, not maybe, and God has designed you to live and function at 100%. Go for counseling, speak to somebody, deal with those things that hold you back. If you have negative patterns, write down your negative patterns and deal with them. I can proudly say I went to see a Christian counselor. Nothing was wrong. I was even fine. But then I kept thinking, there has to be more to my life. There has to be more to my life. I have to get to a place where I feel 100. I have to get to a place where I am facing my goals. I'm not paranoid. I'm confident. And I spoke to somebody who, if you want to know the details, I'll put the details in the, oh my gosh, I'm saying this, in the description box down below. But I went to a secure professional Christian counseling center. And they started to work with me on things from my childhood, all the ways I had felt insecure throughout my life. Guys, it changed my life. It changed my life. That's the only reason why I have the confidence to do this. That's the only reason why there are certain things I do now so much more easily than before, because I went to see somebody and we walked through the issues. If you have rotten teeth, pull them out. They stink. If you have bad behavior, deal with it. It's not cute to be a diva or to be proud or rude. No, deal with your character flaws. That's the second thing Dr. Henry Cloud says deja vu people do. The third thing they do is they play the movie. So he says successful people evaluate almost everything they do in this way, and the way is they see every behavior as a link in a larger chain, a step in a direction that has a destination. And they see this link in both possible directions, the good and the bad. They think this way to attain the good things they want in life, and they think this way to avoid the bad things they do not want. In short, they rarely do anything without thinking of its ultimate consequence. They play the movie, so to speak. You know, one of the interesting things that I think is killing us young people? YOLO, you only live once. Especially when you say that and as an excuse for irresponsibility. Many of us are like, oh my gosh, I have so much time. I'm young, I have time, I can play. It's true, you can play, you have time, but play the movie. Play the movie of your life by 5 years. Play the movie of your life by 10 years, by 50 years, and then work backwards. This comes up for me quite interestingly in my spiritual life, and I keep thinking, oh my gosh, like Abraham was already 90 years old when he had Isaac. So he had all those years to work out his relationship with God and figure out his life and so on and so forth. And I'm like, I have time, Even if I don't pray today, it's okay, I have time. Tomorrow is another day. I'm young. Recently, I started to think about the fact that, no, there's no end with God. If I start today, it's not exhaustive. It doesn't mean that in 50 years' time, I would see the end of God. There's always going to be more. For me, in my life, that's how I play the movie. If there's more, then it means that Today I can do a lot. There's no cap on my achievement. There's no cap on my spiritual achievement, so to speak. So I can have all the ambition today, knowing that in 10 years time I will have renewed ambition. In 20 years time I will still have renewed ambition. You can live your life with zest today and achieve things today, knowing that in 10 years time, in 20 years time, there's always going to be more. Play the movie. Whatever you do today has consequences, not even in an eternal way, so to speak. Eternally, we're talking about where you're going to spend eternity, in heaven or in hell. Think about that. Even in life, before you die, how do you want to live your life? What kind of legacy do you want to leave for your children? I want to preach to the choir, but the next thing deja vu people do that Dr. Cloud talks about is they do something. He says, deja vu people have a certain quality. In addition to listening to your heart's desire, getting rid of negative stuff, and thinking of how the present will affect the future, they do something else. They tend to call on themselves as the first source to correct difficult situations. I'm so triggered by this because for a long time, see how my voice has changed? For a long time, I used to feel like, oh, I'm this way because I didn't learn this when I was supposed to learn it. I'm this way because I was never taught. I'm this way because blah, 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 blah. And I realized that I was making excuses for my life. I realized that I wasn't taking responsibility. Do you know that even the littlest things that we think are giving yourself comfort or giving yourself a pass, sometimes those things are giving excuses? You have to love yourself enough to push yourself. Love yourself enough to give yourself the harsh truth. Love yourself enough to look in the mirror and say, my punctuality problem is actually rudeness. If I am late to an event, it means I don't care about the person who has invited me to be there. It doesn't mean I just want to look cute for them. No, if I want to look cute for them, I will wake up earlier so that I can go there on time. Look yourself in the mirror and be like, I have a stinky attitude that I need to fix. Look yourself in the mirror and say, I have a sloppy work ethic that's preventing me from getting that promotion. I'm a bad friend and that's why I'm having so much tension in my friendships. Take responsibility. Do something. I didn't say it. Dr. Cloud, he's the one that said it. You can send him an email if you want to take this conversation further. But do something. Do something. I'm not there yet, right? And I don't feel qualified to make this video. I just don't, because there's so many things here that I'm still learning and I'm still crawling and I'm still growing. Why am I making the video? I don't know. I suppose, why not? You know? I just keep thinking I don't have to be perfect to start. I don't have to know all the tricks in the book before I take the first step. How wonderful would it be 1 year from now if I look at this and say, oh my gosh, that's me. I do that. I'm still improving. I'm getting better, but that's me. I suppose that's why I'm shooting this video. Let's all fly together. The seventh thing he says is act like an ant. So let me read. He says, it has been said that if you want to be successful in something, then watch those who do that thing well. When I think about the ant, the Bible even says that we should consider the ant, how the ant gathers its food in dry season so that when it's raining, the ant has something to eat. This principle comes to place in doing one small thing one day at a time. Consistency. Guys, I always think about how even in Christianity, a lot of people want to go for crusades and conferences and events. That's nice, but the true building of character, the true building of your faith happens in those quiet moments you spend with God consistently. It's a drop today, a drop tomorrow, a drop today, a drop tomorrow. Don't try to boil the ocean. Start from where you are. Take one step today. My one step is I am shooting this video. That's my one step. One step I took maybe 2 months ago was I revived my blog. I had been blogging for 5 years, and 2019 I felt like I was having a bad year and I wasn't qualified to blog or to say anything to anybody or to encourage anybody or share my story. And I just realized, like, listen, if I keep waiting for life to be perfect, I'm never gonna start. So I started and I just write. Sometimes a lot of people read, especially when you write about love, you guys. Other times, the views are not that many, but I write because it's a promise to myself. I want to hone my skill of writing. So start where you are. It's okay if you don't have all your ducks lined up. It's fine. It's okay if, I don't know, you don't know how to do makeup. I don't know how, I started doing makeup in like February, and when I started doing like all the things. Before then, I just had one brown powder. I had one brown powder I used to use. I use lip gloss and go my way, you know. But I just started, and here I am today. You know, just start, guys. Like if I keep waiting until I have the spiritual understanding of my mom or my fiance or my friends, I'm never going to start. Wherever you are, let it start. Sorry if you don't understand what I'm saying. I'm just saying wherever you are, just start there. The next thing Dr. Cloud talks about is actually very interesting. He says, hate well. When I read this, I was really intrigued, and I think I made a blog post about it, and I said, why you need to hate like God does. Deja vu people hate things, and they hate those things very well. If you want to be successful in life, you can't be in the middle of certain things. You either hate lying and love the truth, or you don't. You're either an honest person or you're not. It doesn't mean you're going to be perfect 100% of the time, but it means you have an awareness and a strong sense of integrity. I was asking one of my best friends what she admired the most in people, and she said she admires hard work, she admires integrity, right? And I asked her to expatiate on what she meant, and she said to me, I like people who know the right thing and do the right thing. It doesn't matter if their right thing is my right thing. All I want to see is that there was a thought behind this, and they took action based on what they knew best at that point in time. Hate laziness, abhor it. Hate mediocrity, hate lack of excellence, hate it well, and that's how you're going to move on. If you keep yo-yoing, keep dancing between, oh, today I did well, tomorrow I'm going to go back there, you're never going to move forward. Guys, me too, I'm still working on that one, because I don't like laziness, but I find myself slipping into a lazy state of being. But you have to keep reminding yourself, I hate this thing, I hate this thing, I'm going to hate it well, I'm going to hate it well. The next thing is, don't play fair. Don't repay evil for evil. Tit for tat doesn't work. Treat people better than they treat you. Leave things better than you find them. If someone is mean to you today, it doesn't mean you have to be mean to them back. No, be nicer to them. You have to give people better than they give you, right? Love people more than they love you. It's painful. It doesn't mean you're a fool. It just means that sometimes you gotta love them and leave them and pray for them. That's more difficult than even smiling in people's faces. You can fake a smile for 5 seconds, but you can't fake prayer. There's a verse in the book of Proverbs that says, sow kindness to people who hate you, because it's like you are heaping hot coal on their heads. That's so interesting. Think about it. Think. The next one is be humble. It doesn't mean that you throw away your own sense of values. It doesn't mean that you refuse to stand for the truth, or that you refuse to be a person of integrity. It just means that you don't show off. What's the point of explaining how a car works to a child if you're going to be telling them about physics and chemistry? They don't know that. As a matter of fact, you're wasting your time. If you want to be a successful person or be a deja vu person, according to Dr. Cloud, he says that you have to be humble. Be humble enough to learn. Be humble enough to start from the beginning. Don't despise your little beginnings. I think pride is so pervasive in life today. Pride is literally when someone tells you hurt my feelings, and you say to them, no, why are you being so sensitive? You should say to them, I'm sorry I hurt your feelings, but this is my truth. Do you see what I mean? You don't bend the truth to fit them, but you adapt to communicate to them at their level. The 9th thing is upset the right people. Upset the right people. When I think about this, I think about I remember reading a book called Good Morning Holy Spirit by very famous televangelist Benny Hinn, and he talks about how when he became a Christian, for some time there was family tension, but he just knew that he had happened upon something that was pretty phenomenal, right? In that case, he upsets the right people. When you think about the life of Jesus, Jesus went about upsetting the right people. The Pharisees and Sadducees who refused to believe in him even after he performed a plethora of miracles. Remember that the Bible says, if everything that the Lord did were to be written down, there would be no book big enough to contain them. If all the acts of Jesus were recorded, time wouldn't be able to contain them, right? So imagine the people who lived in the days of Jesus. They saw him, they ate with him, they interacted with him, but they refused to believe in him, right? He upset the right people. He didn't say, oh my gosh, because of the Pharisees, I'm not going to proclaim the truth. Oh my gosh, because of the Pharisees, I'm not going to heal the blind man. No. He went about doing good. That's how you should be. It doesn't matter who's looking. Go about doing good. Be kind. It doesn't matter what they say. Just be kind. Why? Why not? It doesn't matter. Just be nice. Why? Why not? It does not matter. I've gone through what really was the essence of this book for me. I used to think I was an angel, but then I realized that there's always so much more. There's always so much more you can be, you can do, you can achieve. There's just so much more. Really, like, the sky is big enough for all of us to fly. Spread your wings, fly. There's so much more. Anyway, thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Send this video to your friends. Put it in your family group chat. Put it in your church group chat. It's not about me, guys. It's about Jesus. It's about all of us winning at life together. Until next time, my name is, oh gosh, I sound like a Nigerian news reporter. I'm like, hey girl, it's your girl, Alheri. Until next time, catch me at coolchick.com. Okay.